I'm just going to say it at the beginning of this video, this book is going to be one of my favorites, if not my favorite read of 2020. It's a good one, and this video is about to be a love letter. Let me just start by saying I cannot say, and I will not be able to say enough good words about this book. Mr. Evan Winter, listen to me. You might watch this honestly. This is your first debut novel. You might have written things before this, but this is the one that you released to say, hey, I'm on the scene. This book is sick. You're an incredible storyteller. I don't know why I'm talking to you as though this is a love letter to you. That was not my intention sitting down in this chair. It was simply to talk about The Rage of Dragons, your debut novel in the Burning series. Sir, this book has been talked about, and even is the description, right, on Goodreads at least, Game of Thrones meets Gladiator. That's fine, but I say Ender's Game meets Red Rising, which in my book, that I haven't yet written, that is the highest honors. Because I'm not just talking about the storytelling here, which we'll get to when we come to leadership and relationship amongst peers and leadership amongst peers and battle and mind and even revenge. That's kind of Ender's Game Red Rising, but I'm also talking about the quality and the level of hype and the level of intensity and the character depth and the character, everything. Again, Evan, great job. All right, I'm going to stop being weird. This is no longer to Evan Winter. Although if you're watching this, thank you. I appreciate that. Listen, everybody else, read this book. Just read this book. Let me tell you the premise. This is the first book in an African-inspired epic fantasy series where we follow the story of young Tao. Now, Tao is a young military trainee who, him and his people, the Omahai, have just recently, within the last 100, 200 years, arrived on this new land. And this land is inhabited by people already that they are in this, now the Omahai people, Tao's people, and these natives are in this everlasting battle for the land. That's the setting that Tao finds himself in as he's growing and being trained to be in his military. However, terrible events take place that causes Tao to go on a journey of vengeance, of revenge. He's seeking after there's a group of men, I believe that it's 4 different guys that were responsible for a terrible tragedy in Tao's life. And now Tao is on his course of revenge, and along the way, he gets wrapped up in, of course, a much larger narrative that's at hand. It's not just any longer about his revenge. There's something much greater going on with the war and the people that are at war, and the title of the book, not just the existence of, but the relationship his people, or at least some of his people, have to these mythical beasts, the dragons. The magic system here is so layered and robust. I actually haven't seen it done before, and I've read many fantasy stories with many robust magic systems. Evan, if you're still watching this, I'm about to compare your magic system to Brandon Sanderson's magic systems. Now, Brandon Sanderson, he has layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. So I'm not necessarily saying that the magic system here is that robust as some of Sanderson's, but it is that thought out, and it is that creative, and it is that unique for me. Here, the magic system, without giving anything away, is kind of two-tiered. We've got the physical realm in which the magic effects are happening, and then we've got the metaphysical realm, or the unseen, the spiritual realm, where more of the magic is actually taking place. I don't want to give it away with some of the language or words that I could use that would give too much of that away, but just know that as someone is casting something here in the physical world, their conscience, their being is in a different spiritual realm, in a different place, making it possible for them to be able to cast this magic, and it doesn't come without a cost. Very rarely do I finish a book and want to read it immediately again, but this is one of those times where I finished it and then I know that I missed so much because I just hurried through the book and I want to get back to it. Actually, the first time that I read it, to finish, because I was so absorbed with it, I was reading it on my phone, I was reading it here in person, and then I was reading it as an audiobook as well. That was great, but I missed a lot, so I want to go back and take it more slowly, methodically now, and enjoy it as it deserves to be enjoyed. One of the unique things here, because I don't know if anybody else is going to come into this, and I would love to figure out what happened, but there were a lot of literary changes and differences between the audiobook I was reading and the book I was reading on as an ebook on my phone. I think I had an earlier version on my phone than I did in the audiobook, in the finished audiobook version. Some of the characters' genders were changed, names were changed, some of the just verbiage were changed, maybe chapter titles were changed, or maybe a chapter was moved around to a different place. I think, again, that the ebook I was reading was an earlier version of the finished product. It was just a quick, interesting little tidbit there. This is such an engaging, enthralling story. The characters are so good. The cast of characters that come alongside Tao are real, thought out, fleshed out individuals that you grow affection for. And then the story isn't just this like lollipop, like here you go, it's fun and it's enjoyable. No, it's gripping. It's Red Rising. Dark, deadly things are happening to Tao and to people that he loves and knows, and sometimes at his own hand. And that just makes the story so raw and real and good. Thank you for bearing with me as I gush. I haven't done that in a long time, and this was kind of like just unscripted, not planned. Just wanted to get here and talk about my feelings soon after finishing The Rage of Dragons. It's a delicious book. If you haven't yet read it, read it. And if you have, can we please geek out about it in the comments down below? As always, thank you for watching this video, for clicking like. If you haven't yet, click subscribe and join the Dragon Army, and we'll see you in the next video.